Most Claude tutorials in 2025 are still teaching you the wrong 3%. They drill prompt frameworks, mega prompts, chain of thought tricks, and you walk away with a bigger prompts folder and zero automation. If you're a solo founder or small team paying for Claude but still copy-pasting between tabs, you're missing the only two features that actually matter: Skills and MCP. In the next 14 minutes, I'll show you the exact setup I run for client invoicing and lead gen. 6 MCP servers and 4 skills doing real work. I'm Lazar. I ship this for businesses every week. Let's start with what MCP actually is, in plain English. Okay, plain English first. MCP stands for Model Context Protocol. Forget the spec. Here's what it actually does. It lets Claude reach into your real tools. Your Gmail, your database, your file system, your Stripe account, your Telegram. And do things. Not describe things. Not draft an email you then send. Actually send it. Actually query the production database. Actually generate the invoice PDF and email it to the client. That's it. MCP is the wire between Claude and your business. Skills are the second half. A skill is a reusable instruction file. Think of it as a tiny, focused playbook Claude loads on demand. Instead of pasting a 2,000-word system prompt every time you want Claude to write a Serbian VAT-compliant invoice, you write that logic once, save it as a skill file, and Claude pulls it in when the task matches. One of my client setups has 4 skills, replacing roughly 1,200 lines of prompt boilerplate. Same output. Zero copy-paste. That's the entire game. Now, why does this matter for you specifically? If you're running a small business, you probably lose 2 to 4 hours a day to the same 3 tasks: email triage, invoice generation, and lead follow-up. You've tried ChatGPT. You've tried Claude in the browser, and the honest result is it drafts nice text, but nothing actually moves. Your tools don't talk. Your CRM doesn't know what's in your inbox. Your accounting software doesn't know a deal just closed in Telegram. That gap is exactly what MCP closes, and skills are what make it repeatable instead of a one-off prompt experiment. Let me walk you through the 6 MCP servers I have wired into a single Claude instance for a typical client build. First, Gmail MCPP. Claude reads the inbox, classifies messages, drafts replies, and for trusted senders, it sends directly. Second, Postgres MCP Claude queries the production lead database, scores leads by recency and source, and pulls the top 10 for outreach. Third, File System MCPP. Claude reads and writes files in a sandbox project folder, invoice templates, generated PDFs, exported CSVs. Fourth, Telegram MCP Claude pushes notifications to the founder's phone when something needs human approval and accepts replies. Fifth, Stripe MCP Claude checks payment status, issues refunds when conditions match, and reconciles paid invoices. 6. A custom MCP server I wrote for one invoicing client that handles Serbian invoicing, a PI submission, and tax authority validation. The stuff no off-the-shelf tool does. That's the stack. 6 servers, 1 Claude. The setup file is a single JSON config that points Claude desktop or Claude code at each server's binary. Each server runs locally or on a small home server. Most of mine run on a €400 mini PC under my desk. No cloud bill, no per-seat SaaS tax. Now the skills layer. Let me show you one concrete example. The invoicing skill. Before skills, generating one VAT-compliant invoice took roughly 8 minutes per invoice. Claude needed the customer record, the tax rules, the formatting template, the e-invoicing payload spec, and a sanity check on totals. All of that lived in a giant system prompt that was brittle, and hard to update. After moving it to a skill file, about 90 lines of structured instructions with examples, invoice generation dropped to 40 seconds end to end. Same output, fully compliant, zero manual review for standard cases. The skill describes the task, references the right MCP tools, and Claude orchestrates the rest. Here's the combo move that nobody is showing you. A customer email lands in Gmail. The Gmail MCP surfaces it to Claude. Claude recognizes it's an invoice request, loads the invoicing skill, queries Postgres via the Postgres MCP for the customer's tax ID and address, calls the custom invoicing MCP to generate and submit the e-invoice, writes the PDF to disk via file system MCP, attaches it to a reply via Gmail MCP, attaches it to a reply via Gmail MCP, and pings the founder on with a one-line summary. Total elapsed time, under a minute. Total human input, 0. That is the 3% of Claude that matters. Now let me tell you what to ignore. Ignore mega prompts. Ignore the 57-step prompt frameworks people sell on Twitter. Ignore chain of thought tricks dressed up as a methodology. Once you have skills, your prompts become 3 lines long because the skill carries the weight. Ignore tutorials that show Claude in the browser doing impressive demos that don't connect to anything. That's a toy. The leverage is in the wire. A quick word on building your own MCP server, because this is where most people stop. You do not need to be a senior engineer. The MCP SDK in Python or TypeScript is maybe 200 lines for a basic server. If your business has one weird workflow no SaaS covers, Serbian e-invoicing, a custom CRM, a specific shipping carrier's API, you wrap it in an MCP server once and Claude can use it forever. That's how you escape the platform tax. You stop renting integrations and start owning them. The live result on the invoicing client, 8 minutes per invoice down to 40 seconds. Error rate on tax fields effectively 0, because the skill validates before submission, and the founder reclaimed roughly 14 hours a week that used to go to manual invoice entry. On the lead gen build, 6 MCP servers running 24/7, scoring and routing leads while the founder sleeps, with a single Telegram approval gate for anything above a defined deal size. That's the entire architecture. No agent framework, no LangChain, no orchestration platform. Just Claude, Squells, and MCP. If you want to see real examples of these builds running for clients, go to bizflowi.io. That's where we show what we actually ship, not slideware. Hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next breakdown lands in your feed, because the follow-up walks through a full lead gen pipeline using only Skills and MCP. And if you have a workflow you want automated like this, book a free 30-minute discovery call at bizflowi.io. We'll map it together and tell you straight if it's worth building.